here meditating and pondering on the ways of the world today. Thinking of my people Africa and the state of the continent today. How mothers fed their children today. As granny goes down on her knees every day and prays. How many souls are dying from causes that could be prevented? If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Oh, 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 oh. Zayana Yahweh. Zayana way. Zayana way. Africa rise, young. Every 4 years, the politicians say he's your servant today. After you vote for them, they metamorphose into your masters. I say, have your say, we'll have our way. Oh, yeah. Not no strange, it's called demon crosses. Okay, 1212 Radio Culture. We're live on iCulture TV.
Radio Culture.
You're welcome to the weekend live stream. Thank you very much for making the date with us. My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten, and I'm sitting in here doing the coordination from Studio One in Texas, USA. I will be linking with my colleagues in Studio 2, Kumasi, Ghana, when the time comes for it. We're going to start the show. For today's show, we have some solid interviews. But before that, let's have the editorial. All right, you're welcome once again. My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten. Welcome to the editorial. For today's consideration, when the newsman becomes the news. The newsman, the so-called representative of the so-called fourth estate, has got to be the most short-changed professional in the world. To begin with, the three other estates draw salaries and wages from the government kitty. The fourth estate folk do not. But that is not the point right now. The point is that in spite of being so obviously undervalued, the newsman has agreed to be the eyes, the ears, the nose, the ENT of the people. Striving hard to achieve the mandate of educating, informing, and entertaining. Trouble, however, is lately a certain strain or a certain brand of journalism, or should we just call it media reporting or presentation, has evolved in Ghana or is evolving in Ghana, which would throw Joseph Pulitzer into complete confusion. And don't get me wrong, we don't have to be Pulitzers. We definitely can innovate to suit our circumstances. But I still believe the fundamentals are very important. In this new strain of journalism, the journalist seems to take center stage, becoming the topic rather than treating the topic. Media folk have now plugged themselves into the discourse. Yes, they have plugged themselves into the discourse and are often leading the often bemused audience down a rabbit hole of self-aggrandizement. When the newsman has a linguist, aka hype man, modeled after the revered Ochiame of the chief's palace, he no longer is delivering news. He is making news. When the newsman replaces the day's editorial with a treatise on how great he or she is and what work he or she has done for a certain government or the other, or seeking to get on some board or the other, that is not making news. That, I mean, that is making news, not presenting it. Look, when the newsman becomes the news, he loses the moral right to educate, inform, and entertain. Well, let's rephrase that. When the newsman becomes the news, the only one of the three functions that he becomes effective in is entertainment. Because a lot of the news these days have become entertainment and nothing but that. The newsman regales us with tales of himself or herself, drawing us into his or her world to experience their greatness and not that of the nation or the people. When the newsman becomes the news, they cannot be trusted. When the newsman becomes the news, objectivity suffers. Our news in Ghana is presented with so much adages and subjective inferences that one begins to wonder if that is news anymore. Newscasters, especially in their canned media, are rated on how fluent they are in throwing down proverbs and adages rather than the dexterity in delivering the news as is. And with the advent of social media and mushrooming and unregulated media schools, the matter is worsening. Half-trained, half-baked media folk who take their inspiration from our celebrity newsmen are beginning to take up space with that mediocre strain of journalism. And maybe this is what is confusing our newsmen, because traditional media has lately suffered a ceding of ground to social media and seems to be struggling to get some of the attention that the latter is enjoying from the public. And so in a bid to perhaps compete or at least keep up with that phenomenon of getting the attention of a generation who would rather get their information from Wadimaya than from GTV, the newsman is perhaps a little justified. Or are they? Because when it comes to presenting news, there should be no compromise. The newsman, while not being entirely neutral, is charged with presenting as neutral a stance as possible without plugging themselves in there. When the newsman becomes the news, truth suffers, I said before, and the discourse is watered down. The focus becomes blurred. We need a vibrant, trustworthy media for national development. And how Captain Smart saved Akufo-Addo's life. Nana Ba Anamo's romantic life, or what kind of car Kwame Frimpong drives, I think has very little to do with that. This has been the editorial. My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten. We'll be right back with the show. All right, once again, let me say a big welcome to you, and thank you very much for joining us on the show today. We have our very first interview coming up. On today's show, as I stated before, we have some very important interviews. For our first interview, a few days ago, the Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North, I believe, made waves in Parliament, I would say, when he sought to the Speaker's attention, or the Speaker's permission, I should say, to speak in his native dialect, Chi, of course. Now, that has so many angles to it, and I have invited the best brains I could find to discuss the subject. I have my beloved brother Kwasi Anin Boaten, having switching issues once more. This thing, hold on a second, one moment please. Let's get that straight. There you go. Kwasi. Hello, Kwasi. Connectivity issues as usual. I said before. All right, we'll be back as soon as we have Kwasi. But yes, Kwasi Anin Boaten is a linguistic and cultural expert, and he will be joining us to discuss the subject of using our local dialect as communications, official communications, or official media of communications. This is what I mean. Some time ago in Nigeria, there was some experiment where they wanted to see how effective the use of local language as a medium of instruction in schools was, right? This is something that they actually did in Nigeria. And I will not go too much into the results because I was hoping that I'll get into that with Kwasi. But long story short, there is something to be said for having local languages or local dialects as lingua franca. Ethiopia is another example. Ethiopia has its local language. I think it's Gears or Amharic, either of them. I should, check that. But one or the other is an official language alongside English, right? But in Ghana, we have so many different local languages. So when we decide to do that, what are the pros? What are the cons? Are we going to benefit from using local dialects as official media of communication? Or is that going to throw our governance system into some sort of chaos? Is that going to ignite some cultural, unnecessary cultural tensions, or what? I don't know. And I have my guest back. Let's go and speak with my guest for today, Kwasi Anin Boaten. Kwasi, Akwaba, what do you mean?
Yeah, Medasi, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Now we have gone past the connectivity issues. Now we are face to face right now. Thank you very much for making time for us. Kwasi, let me play a video quickly for you, and then let's react to that video after we've seen it. Thank you very much. One quick moment.
We're free America, we're free UK, what Ghana,
do that, but why do you want to do it?
Order 63.
Are you going to do the interpretation in English?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
If you can do that, but why do you want to do it in Tree?
My constituents have told me severally that they want to hear or understand most of what we speak about in Parliament in the local language. So, if I can indulge you on that, I would really appreciate it.
Is that so?
Yes, please. Right, Mr. Speaker, Didi Kameda, Yunyaba, Aye, Felicia, Ajay, Sir, Ode, and some, and here we are to now, Kakra me pese me kan, Yakwai, enye, Dodona, enye, ewo, Ghana, ha, and a fee, ye street lights, ye mamino, eka bibri, efa tourism, ho, ye nim, send tourism, ebwa, krubia, send itimide, sika, eba, ema, economy, no.
Okay, Kwasi, I'm saying point like person making there are some more kind of there. It's there for everybody to go check out, but that's not the focus right now. The focus is that he sought speaker's permission to speak Tree in Parliament. Generally speaking, the person told initial comments on that. Oh, okay, all right. Connect. Yo, listen, man. Sincere apologies there. This thing, and I got feedback, right? I got some feedback from one of our listeners in Europe saying, sir, we apologize too much. Feedback well taken, oh my brother, but the truth of the matter is that it sometimes is hardly our fault. Oh, some judge, we will come knocking on your door big time, because this is something that has to be dealt with. There can be no effective 24-hour economy without effective internet. We have to address that. But I think I have Kwasi back. Let's go and Kwasi, now maybe say we initial reaction to even the idea of this member of parliament seeking permission to speak in Twi. Anything, take us through.
Kwasi, me that's I Michelle, and I've watched and listened to comments from people about it, and it appears that a month for Enyanti near Mabiase, because Parliament na Nkasano almost accept according to their standing orders. Say any member of Parliament could express himself in any of the Ghanaian languages. In fact, they mentioned some major languages and said, and other, Ghanaian languages, provided the facilities are there for interpretation. And now, last year, February, Speaker Kra Eka Hwasem almost say or more be making sure that the facilities are there, so this could be implemented. And the Parliament in Juma, because ordinarily
Again, just like I was saying, connectivity issues. Please pardon us. I know it's not pleasant to keep apologizing all the time, but we cannot pretend that it's not happening and therefore we're not going to apologize. We have to apologize, even if it's not our fault, don't we?
Hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea run them. The wrath of God upon them.
I am your keeper, yourselves on fire. You're killing people every day. Anytime you open your mouth, I feel like you're leading my people astray.
Government by family and friend, corruption never end. Are you tell us said you are God sent, but when we turn around the bend, you thieving with a pen. Waffy with family, and I struggle for fed. And when you come after way, like the cock on the end. What a pity when we sell our dignity as spent. Politicians them attack me from the rear end. Leave it to a dead end. And the fake preacher telling I and I feel repent. With the money in my pocket is the mountain again. And when the gap are ever widen, fences can mend. So this question I send.
Where the money there? 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 Where the money there?
And me say where the money there?
I don't know.
Whoa, at the fire bonding. Until they change their mind, the wrath of God upon them.
Through your lies and deception, wrong education, you're posing yourself wrong way. But when the church and the state collaborate to keep us in slavery.
And by the ballot and the bullet, they put their gun to the head. Them say you have the right to talk, but talk too loud and you dead. It's like them have a different system for the leader and the leader. Hurt or run red. So get the youth bounce rise and show them how things be run. If them can't do it, come and make we show them how we done. And we now no more room for them like them gates are gone. Up your fire burner. What do you say?
Where the money there? Where the money there?
Hello, Kwasi.
All right, so we're back after. Oh gosh, these people. All right, let's make it happen. Chief, you were saying something. You were talking about the parliament and the, you please pick it up. Pick up where you left off.
Hello, Kwasi.
Kwasi Twasumame.
I'm so sorry. I think sir, yeah, audio to say the last time no.
Mate. Seba biwa
Yes.
Yo.
Yes, to say the na make no. Parliament na also mo ade o mo niam tutu ye say the be ya on betimi aye. Eniam be translators in the first place. And gadgets.
I'm Sebekon audio. This is so embarrassing. But anyways, we're going audio, all right? Unfortunately, at least you have seen what Kwasi looks like. So we'll continue with the rest of the interview with just his voice now. Kwasi, Bepacho, pick up where you left off. Why? Naya Yanko.
Okay. Before I start with the Medimano account on Yapa at I think sir, by next time they did not BBI okay Yadamasi. And Nami say a parliament na normal and near more say and what's a one more year a bema ho kwan ama yet me use local languages in parliament no more translated and gadgets and so on to say there you call UN General Assembly you can Arabica and will be so simultaneously Arabic is translated for we are on to Arabic as a here. This is not any big deal.
But Kwasi, Obibebusa said, with considering said there are so many different languages or dialects in Ghana, no, to do that, no, isn't that going to be some type of cost which could be avoided?
That is a fair point. There is a fair point, but the most important point too about this thing is that the large number of Ghanaians don't speak English, and so if we want to buy in for the masses, and so parliament, it's one thing that is very important. And so cost, yes, normally to a spend this car say democracy ni boarding. So ni boarding we should be able to bear the cost. But yesha by and large any padudona betima use English. Anyway.
Yes.
But ekobasa ye ntimi use local languages. They are not just say Obi I want to mean Cabro, Obi and to me parliament. And that's also an important point. And to me, the last time, guy, if I told me refinity MP, I think MP Asante
Akim North, yeah.
Yes. Or started say all cano. Even though immediately I saw your point, and for instance, as he did it, say China. It was a wow sad extras here in Profo. Like I said, you are taking double of the timer under normal circumstances.
Exactly.
Which is not good.
Yes.
But then he has brought the issue to the fore. And for me, that is what is important. So he has brought it to the fore, and Parliament will have to take it and look at it and rule on it, whether they want to continue as they themselves have indicated, by getting the gadgets and so on. Or if they decide, no, we can't do it, they should rule on it so that nobody can do it.
Kwasi, do you think, sir, maybe selecting some key dialects as representative, Ebebwana? Because honestly, you can say, every single dialect, it's not practical. And I don't think that's even done anywhere in the world, right? But
in fact, they have selected Akan, they have selected Nzima, Ga, Ewe, Hausa, and Dagbani.
That presents a problem.
Having done this selection, they continue to say any other language, but specifically they have selected these.
Okay, now that at once presents a problem for me, because if we're talking about inclusivity, the point that you were making earlier, right? Getting everybody to, have a buy-in and all of that. And that's at the same time, we get to a point where we said, okay, we're going to only have these ones as representing all the other ones. For instance, I don't think that if you have Dagbani, it's going to represent all the other smaller dialects that are in that area. It's not practical, is it?
Anyway, let me also add this Dagari apart from Dagbani. Well, the Dagbani can represent a sizable number there, as well as Dagari. And when you take Ga is, Ga Adangbe. And of course, Nzima, Akan represents a large number. Fanti, Apiapem, Bono, represents a lot, and so on. It is a fact that 100% we cannot get all the languages represented. Even in terms of translators.
Yes.
Even in terms of translators, it's going to be difficult. And that's where my point is. Parliament should do its own homework. If they think they can do it, then they should do what is supposed to be done so they can do it. If they think that is going to be costly, is going to be challenging for them, at least for now, they should rule on it. Because it shouldn't be left to the
interpretation of anybody.
Decide, yes, whether they will speak English or not.
Okay, Chief, Mamin Bissau. Please, finish your point.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, well, so Namika said you are personally related to Mame Ekwadonkomehe, so rest in peace. And we know, say, she was seeking to be president. Now, let's take it, Senka Mame Ekwadonko Ebeye president. How would we have handled that? Because now, even in parliament, there's struggle. Now, if we have to use our languages, our dialects at the executive level, how is that going to look like? So now let's go beyond parliament. Generally, looking at our languages, our dialects, as official media of communication. Is that practical? We look at Ethiopia, for instance, who have an example of that. They have English as an official language, but they also have Ge'ez as their main language, as their lingua franca. Do you see that happening in Ghana? Is it practical?
You see, Ghana, we are pretenders. From day one, Kwame Nkrumah saw this issue. He understood that we will need these languages in our development. And so he settled on 11 languages to be developed for that purpose. Because they have done the research and they have identified that the chosen 11 languages will represent the larger majority of Ghanaians well. So that is why they set up the Bureau of Ghana Languages. Over the years, we have abandoned the project. And so we Ghanaians haven't decided exactly what we want to do on this after Kwame Nkrumah and work towards it. We have abandoned it. So even if you come to our language policy at the educational sector, we have gone back and forth. At the point you hear that we should educate the Ghanaian child from the beginning in English and so on. Then you come back, we should use the local language, back and forth. So we have wasted all the years without doing anything. And that is the problem. That is the problem. If it was something that we considered very important, by now, it would have been feasible. But as it is now, you are right. It's a problem. It's a problem. And the issue comes about one, national language. It is something that cannot happen. It cannot happen because if you choose one language over the others, there will be chaos.
That is the point. That is the problem.
The others will not accept it. And that is why Kwame wanted to be that inclusive, and they did the research, and they knew that the 11 major languages that had been chosen could represent all the rest.
I see.
And we just didn't work on it. And now we want to work with it without having done our homework. So a problem.
I see, Chief. Thank you so much. As we wrap up, let me ask you, what would be your advice for Parliament currently with everything that you've looked at, the lack of the equipment and all of those things? No? And I do apologize. I wanted to dig deeper into this subject with you, but because of the issues that we had, we are kind of like pressed for time.
Currently, they haven't done their homework. So they can't do it. the situation where, for instance, the last time, as you saw, when you allow somebody to speak ever in parliament, then that person should translate the same thing he said in ever into English. So, like I said, time or they can't assemble, or say, or Saturday, same time, remove ever English. And so, time, or take it double time to say the same thing, and it's going to be more work for parliament. So, for now, I think they should rule that the language of parliament is English, and if they are serious after that ruling, as we continue with English as the sole language of parliament, behind the scenes, we'll be working to get the system set up for us to be able to also communicate in the local languages in parliament.
I see. With that point made, though, let me ask you again: is there anything to be said for the use of English as our lingua franca, as our official medium of communication? What I mean is this: is there any? Yes, and let me give you this short story just to buttress the question I'm asking. Dr. Ben Abdallah, right, who served under Jerry Rawlings as minister in several portfolios, was my lecturer at some point, and he was making a point about how they would go to, they'll go on like international assignments, and sometimes they had to make a decision, and they could take the decision right there in the meeting, because they're sitting in a meeting with people and speaking English with them, but they could switch quickly and decide, say, hey, I deal with on until they were country say 15%. They could sit right there and communicate with themselves, But at the same time, they had the benefit of the English language, which they could easily also plug into the external world. Is there something to be said for the English language, being adapted as our lingua franca?
You see, in our case, that scenario is not there, because in our case, we want a situation where we could, get people, to follow all that is going on. And so the fact of the matter is that the larger majority of Ghanaians cannot communicate effectively in English. Even now, if you have had the benefit of listening to some parliamentarians now, today, the last time, I remember if you listen to the vetting of Howard Kumsen, all this came out, you realize that some of the parliamentarians themselves are not comfortable in English.
But Chief,
how much more?
Can't it also be said that some of these parliamentarians cannot also express themselves properly in the local dialects? Isn't that also a fact? Some of them, first of all, cannot write one sentence in Twi or any other dialect, local dialect, that is. Secondly, they cannot even string a properly constructed, grammatically correct Twi sentence together. Isn't that also a fact?
It's also a problem. It's also a problem. But even when you move out of parliament, you see that the larger majority of Ghanaians don't understand what's going on. And these are the same people who call upon to vote. They don't understand anything, and that is where, people looking for votes can go and say anything about what has been going on in Ghana, and because they have not been following, they don't understand. And that is also why you get some uneducated journalists sitting on radio and misleading a whole lot of Ghanaians. And there's serious chaos about this thing. You get people, and I don't want to mention names, of journalists, the kind of things they say on radio. What's that? Not what's it? Radio, culture. The Bible truth. And so this is a very serious issue. Empire development. We better sit down and do something and get to know exactly what to do to help ourselves.
Kwasi Anin Boaten, thank you very, very, very much. As usual. And we'll pick this subject up again. Be sure says same way, a bit develop it further, right? It's only beginning. This only came up. and we are only scratching the surface. I'm sure we'll touch base with you again to dig deeper into the subject. Thank you very much for making time for us.
We have to, because the issue goes,
yes,
beyond so many things. And I believe Zamonkwa and Amubetini are taking this issue up, for us to look at, on the wider scale to understand what is it about this whole issue. So I will urge you to take it up again.
We will do exactly that. Thank you so much, Kwasi Anin Boaten, and we'll talk to you again sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Bring my contribution in the local language. Tree.
Order
63.
Are you going to do the interpretation in English?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
If you can do that, but why do you want to do it in Tree?
My constituents have told me severally that they want to hear or understand most of what we speak about in Parliament in the local language. So if I can indulge you on that, I would really appreciate it.
Is that so?
Yes, please. Right. Mr. Speaker,
okay. Thank you very much for patiently sticking with us up to this point. That hiccup there has thrown our whole entire programming out of gear. All right, as I stated, we do sincerely apologize for that hiccup, and that has thrown our whole programming out of gear. We did have the representative from Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, but it looks like the timing has gone out of whack a little bit. We hope that he's able to come back and speak with us. In the meantime, we'll cut across straight and go speak with our reporters. Reporters, please get ready and come in the green room so we can continue the show. I do see... please come in the green room. Let's get this thing done quickly, all right? Reporters, correspondents. Please activate your cameras so we can get this thing going. Activate your cameras. All right.
Radio culture.
Probably a better idea to wrap up the show than to keep being held to ransom by the internet like this. This is ridiculous. We just got a message from our guest, Seth Darko. Seth has been trying to get on. I saw him in the green room, but every time he comes, he pops right back. Same connectivity issues. And as a matter of fact, looks like we're also having that with some of our reporters. We're going to go straight to the entertainment news and then we will wrap up. Hopefully we can get our next guest to speak about the issue on the entertainment news. Stay right here.
All of a sudden, you need baby as had your way free. Now, utie lawyer no me person me read the way now make me boost out sentence. How are we going to go about it? Because lawyer may say, I say, please note that we have our client's instruction to sue you. Meaning, say, in a court of law for damages on any unauthorized use or access to our client. Kindly be notified and comply accordingly to avoid embarrassment, so as no further notice shall be issued to.
Okay, now that is a story we'll be looking at on the entertainment update. Okonfo Kwade and his situation, how Lord Kenya and some other people tried to intervene and the kind of resistance they're getting from his family. We'll be speaking with lawyer Benjamin Halim Salifu on, is it legal even? Because according to the clip that you just heard, Lord Kenya and his friends have been served court notice or a lawyer's notice to stay away from Okonfo Kwade. We will be speaking about that. But for right now, it looks like we have one of our reporters at least. Let's go speak with Justice Mafu. Justice, what's up? Yo, I find out what I didn't
Sabria Mohumine Justice Mafu, made me report over. If Asante Mantemuton and a Tresubutum, I bosompo. Eddie Ababi drew my suya, Yachia, radio coach and I coach TV at for near Fuina. Now, some radio, Asante Mantem swap as you say, you know, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Wapau no Ogusua Wadasi, Ogusua Wakonasia Soriama, and I'm Subiama Nano Fiada, Wakoma Anglican, I sorry them, Aquaco Denya Miasi. Now, or press conference, or yes, and Trefuishim to just say Galamise communities, I organa Hanum Titra Santeman Mantemuha, or here Santeman Temu Hanumua, a MPP Mamumu. Yajidin ye pa ema nam so bi ma krofo kra bo nyom se Galamise nsu omdi nsu bi ba ya ni ayekọ mutu din se Galamise nsu na wo hwesa mining communities ya omo nam kwanbo nsu a omutu fom agudie a ye frɛ se Galamise gada ensil eno na wabokokọ se omo nafua mako do 14 days ultimatum say omon fan free honomo ansa na emra kwanso omone omwatwe na nipa ya America na asemi Dr. Frank Amwakohene kasa kire mu say sa 14 day ultimatum ya ode mamoyi enye say omon kwa na eba omone Ashanti Regional Security Council ni nyina na ebomu aba police for ne asrafo wa Ghana hanom titira santemantamu ha omo na edi akira abasa operation no na omo ba omono monka bibia legal action enye se omo ba beje mo excavators akoko hyehye no enye se omono mo ba betututuo bia legal action intine se yeba na yehwe na se wo sese nsu e wo honom ne yem forest e wo honom na mo se mo sese no a kwantre ne so a omono mo betwe ne yie pa na aka akumyaji no kwakuo num se newsroom aso tiemi a omo hwe na omo mo original minister video no emfa emaye isanse ka kumyaji no kwakuo num na nkoye se mia na mebo misire mu aka na yemo video no ma atifo ne ahwefo nyina enya regional minister Asante regional minister video no na yɛhwɛ wɔ bra no ne nsɛntwerɛfoɔ edi nkɔmɔ na wɔde kɔkɔbɔ ɛde ma ɔmo a ɔmo tu fam agudie na ɔmo ntu no ne kwan soɔ na ɔmo sɛ yɛnsuwa ne yɛ kwaya ahodoɔ no kɔkɔbɔ a ɔde ma wɔmo no yɛhwɛ bi na yɛntie bi.
Asante Mantem de enema miensa e de maye. Ye hu se Asante Mantem no ye ya di dimbone ewo eye yensu ene mining ene de keke ka ho in terms of galamsey any illegal mining ho asem. E papa mahama na ni so ade hunu mienu ye say forest reserve eye ye jagu ho asoman a ebeboa na atuma protect your climate ho nsensem no. Any quite say bia ye mining and aduabubu bia ho nsem ekoso forest reserve mu eno ntino o de tu just say obia woniema ana wudi uduma wo forest reserve mu bia no making sure say obepake woniema na wafiri ho ya hye dwumadie na se a ye de ye papa mahama anamo no eba be ye adwuma ana ye de ye adwuma entu unim na unia wo forest reserve ni mu a ye ma grace period say wo de woniema no pak ni nyina afiri ho na otwemienu ntem megicho so wayi ni nyina ayedai afiri ho anesa mema ne nkwaye de say bi aban ni tinimo de na niema a wo de adwuma a waboka no wo aban no ene wo endi ni yi ewo ho enim se adwuma na obese wo ya fa kwai paso ne fa ya adwuma no na ntimi mu ase de be ya oman no ene timamufuo nyina ebetinye nya ho mfaso yesa atosum yenu eye illegal mining. Yes, there should be no mining whatsoever in any forest reserve. In Junior also share forest na usudi e from one yi oniema nyina free forest in the next 2 weeks and sana you see from na ya mu and making sure say the right thing is done so far as protecting our outer bodies and protecting the environment here concerned ye to wana mo ye to so mienu ye omo ya mining especially along the rivers no and also ya papa mahama or the nearest form ho say obia wudi juma e water bodies ho bia no and also back on yama ne free home. In the next 14 days, no, they expect to say, it's a job for Mbabway, not me at Munibia, Chilimu say, Unim now to ensure who they are, any of you pay down Yemen United, a free home. That is areas I day best at with the fight against the rising issues of irresponsible or illicit mining. And so, I want to say, in so many BT, in the Asante Mantem, and do one say, you so at Nefa. Everyone need tea ewo mantem foforo enti wo be yi won krofo ni nyina de afiri nsuo na no but mantem foforo no ntimi nya ne de na omo hono no ho no nsuo ne betwa mu e ba bedu Asante Mantem ha no na nsuo ne da so eye te said the galamsey da so koso Asante Mantem no means about the agency. With this in mind, we are teaming up with the other regional ministers omo wo within the enclave e betima boya ma ya team up to make sure say e betima clean your water body said e be ya and I'm more able to Asante Mantem han mantem foforo a weakness and I be o man timi anya no man nsa anko ye to said ye ya pam obia so still nsu na intimate ye na timi aboa me na holistic approach towards making sure say betima clean your water bodies among others in this for enim say dwumadi ndodo na money abaya etwam no etutu na mo bia inde mo dodo na mo experience in these areas ye ntwa kwa mamomo ma ye ho ye beba monase na obi a wo information concerning the fight to make sure say be cleaning the water bodies na making sure say forest no so you be to protection no yet me and the right information to be able to do that.
Fantastic. Great.
Any kaku ye jino ko num Dr. Frank Amwako Henena yakote den kano se wa reatai so broni beka se perseverance na we determine se sa fight against galamsey you know omo abamu de enkonkoye se nanado danko akufuado amamu breso no enye sa ena ebe kwa akoye na sa video we ye GH news na ya na ikutwa ye eye watermark bia na so ya ye de na ye bo tiefo kokose omo nko GH news na TikTok omo behunu sa video yi ewo honom na ye hwese ye bedika premier no wa hanom ansa na ye de akwa akoto TikTok anu ntino Dr. Frank Amwako Hina wa Asante regional minister, the youngest regional minister ever ena wakasa no na opem so so abona no hoba se support bia wo hia se wo de beko saa galamsey kon no obeboa no na manhia nso so edo machita ata na chi na yentu fa se krode bresiamo a otu ne nsem ojabum na yemfa ye ni nkyere mrahye bedwafie ena no na mrahye bedwafie ani kapa ye de wo montokwa no wo kokon ye se class 1 student class 1 for ntokwa no wo kokon wo ho no so to nchen a de akoso wo mrahye bedwafie a ani ka eye Asante Akim North mrahye bedwani ni twi a wo kokan no mrahye bedwafie a eno so ama ne trend yie pa no so Asante Mantemu hanom ne regions ahodo a muka Asante twi na nkasa no so ebo na baso yie pa se watumi abie kwan no se de be ya omunyina kasa bi a wote no ubetumi aka na ma wo manfo ate de wo kan yie ase na eno na manfo bi kasa eno bebo ama A+ etumi anya akonya kasa isan se wo ba ya odi kan kasa for the first time no wontumi kasa bio ena titiri nso so dwabe mrahye bedwani oro nso so ko ye se brofo basa na okoka ho eno no abie the floodgate ama mrahye bedwafo ahodo a ho nom nso so ebetumi ede wo kasa no a wo ka no wo mpotamu no omatumi ede adwuma wo mrahye bedwafie eno nso so no yenkotie se de mrahye bedwani no efa so kan ne nsem a ema fomena mrahye bedwani a wo ye second deputy speaker of parliament lawyer Andrew Kwame Siama na nka wotwintwa na namu no so antumi antentam no yentie no kakum
da yunyaba ye Felicia Eji se ode ensem a ehuhia we atudwa now kakra me pese me kan eye yakwan a enye dodo na enye ewo Ghana ha and afi ye street light ye maame no eka bibri efa tourism ho ye nim sene tourism eboa krubia sene itimide sika eba ema economy no emu epija now mefa kwanya we so no masa atwe aban na dwen asi se ye nyina nim se ye vice president ye maame Jane Nana Opoku oye oba na ya na etode bia ya sefem se wonnam ba bi te se East Legon ene mia bibria ye nuanom Mmaa sene omo asalai ewo kwan ho a ya na eyade asemfem ani timi hu ni sese ebetimi afa akwanya bi so na yetu maifo sene be ya omunjeja kwan ho se bi obi ho a bi we free America we free UK wate Ghana opese obeji nani kakra wo Ghana opese visit tourism sites na ohu enema bi sei ana afa ye street lights bebre unam a enjajuma enti emma ya na kronu mani gie no ya na nipa bebre nheda enya ne saa
aya na nipa bebre ntanya kronu mu enigie no saa wasete trend will make it very as you know we discussed this issue on the show today. Twaso mame
you see no wasete piece no na betimi a follow suit A+ Francis Owusu Echan dwaben omo nyina MPs na kasa ho ye omo dene eba so omo ka brofo a enti no omo betimi aka omo twi kasa no na MPs ni bi wo horom kura na sa wugya omo se omo nka omo kurom kasa no a ebe ye den ama omo zanse edom omo gina wo manim kasa kire wo campaign time no enye omo na ewo parliament ho enu enti no omo ko tena honom sa ya na ehu kakra ato wonso enu enti no ebre ko nanim no I think say omo betumi a recover na sa ehu na ewo ifie ho no enu nso so etumi ayi afiri ho na mafu justice mama ne botia wa me de bre GH news na watiefo no ma hwefo ebi ena ekosi
yo ya CP yeah cost straight akwa entertainment news entertainment showbiz update for showbiz update no yeah discuss issue with Okonfo Kwade and how his family apparently, allegedly, is preventing his friends who want to help him come out of the situation he's in. Out of respect for Komfo Kwade, I'm not going to play one of the videos that we were supposed to play because it shows him in a very humiliating stance, and I don't think that we on this platform want to contribute to broadcasting images of a man that is obviously in distress. He is going through a phase, but we are all with him in prayers and everything. Let's watch this video it's a message from Lord Kenya talking about how they've reached out to help Komfo Kwade and the kind of resistance they have to put up with from his family. And we'll be back with the Showbiz update.
Move on. All of a sudden, you need baby a sad way free. Now, utie lawyer no me person me read the way now make me boost out sentence way me no. How are we going to go about it? Because lawyer me say, I say please note that we have our client's instruction to sue you. Meaning say in a court of law for damages on any unauthorized use or access to our client. Kindly be notified and comply accordingly to avoid embarrassment, so as no further notice shall be issued to you if you fail to comply with the demands of this letter. This is a letter from a Komfo family. I'm a lawyer, and the same supposedly the same lawyer. I have friend say, and consider the situation it's here near no. Ya discharging. Yeah, party, yeah, no. Ya nyamo biya ya man yankopon. We did it because God has asked to do it. Said ya me defia seno wa mesrame. Said ya me that is what the Bible says. So we did it because of that. Now, family clients, according to us letter, they say Mmaa me na Troy and Mmaa me na instructor no. My prayer letter. Say yen to me nin your ma mokeka me manya me share for helping. Farid obi oka ubi anya share for helping. Now, why yes stable? Ye yino mo de ne coffee. Mo be fa ne de ne coffee. Mo de ne coffee wasaba back. So ye frem mo abusa mo say e kwan ben so na mo ka say what was the plan? What was the plan like? I didn't plans na much more man. Na se money plans manua. Then a nipa buano. Nipa tried their best to make him on yet said ye was a. And then all of a sudden there is pressure. Why? Abraham person be gusa 7 way and probably maybe 9 fast 7 see. Usha as someone say lawyer here can. Ye mu be say a role na saying because they say ye hu de anya. Because me to me mwa obi and I say me mwa me nua na at the end of the day ne emfa ye nkoko to say you are helping so much for comfort, so much pain and so much struggle. And then I'm how comfort sir. Why are you guys troubling this guy like this? Why?
Big question. Why? Wow. Okay. So to help us answer that question, hopefully, we have our brother Ebenezer Amponsa joining us on the Showbiz update. Hopefully, Synergy will get his act together and join us and take over this interview because he is supposed to be doing the Showbiz update. But I'll stand in until hopefully he joins us. Big man, thank you very much for joining us. Ebenezer. Okay, looks like you have Synergy on as well. Synergy, take over. Hello?
Hello.
Synergy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. What about you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Take over. Are you ready for your update, Synergy? Take over. Your guest is here. Mr. Ebenezer Ponsa is on the line right now. Take over. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Mr. Ponsa, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ponsa.
Thanks
Ebenezer.
so much. I think the network sorry helped me here.
Exactly what we have been dealing with for the whole day. The whole entire show, we have had to deal with this.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I hope we can make this work. For the whole show, we've been dealing with connectivity issues.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It seems that the network is really not helping me here, but I don't know if you can hear me. Can I go on?
Please go on. Please go on if you can hear me. Oh, gosh. Okay, welcome back, Ebenezer. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, boss.
Yes, I can hear you. Mepacho.
Hello.
Yes.
Please,
yes.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Let's go on. What?
That's great. That's great.
Great. What's the issue? No, the issue about Okonfo Kwade.
That's great.
His state.
That's great.
His state of health, and the fact said some of the Namfo, including Lord Kenya and I think Pope Skinny and a couple others, have reached out to try to help him, but from the news we're getting, no, his family seems to be preventing the help that they're offering. What's in Wasem? Now, what's in Wasem? So, what's your reaction? This is not good. This is very embarrassing. Synergy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ras.
All right, take over. This is your segment.
All right, then. Well, I was live watching everything right from the interviews you had with the first guest and then on to when Justice was also doing his report. But unfortunately, it looks as if because of the heat, just as I joined again and you wanted me to take over, the phone went offline because of temperature. That was the reason why the phone itself went offline. But the first story has already been shared online, which is about Okonfo Kwade's issue as to the current state of how sometimes, as you said, the respect for Okonfo Kwade, because of that, you couldn't show the video because the situation was not that okay for people to see how a legend there. Let me put it that way. A legend for someone we have in our showbiz industry, a legend Okonfo Kwade will be looking like that in that state, and we will still show that video for people to watch. So as the video was played, there will be Lord Kenya shared his view and thoughts about how he went in to support Okomfo Kwade, but the family, that is the family of Okomfo Kwade, permitted that to happen. So with all this being said, and today I went on Twitter, which is now X. We had a lot of celebrities commenting and sharing their views as to how the industry folks can also come out to help our brother, because we are all in this industry. So when it comes to a level at a time, it becomes necessary for us to put in our support. But Lord Kenya, as he explained to everyone, said, and yes, support but the family is not ready to accept that support to go in for Okomfo Kwade. We have somebody like Captain Planet of 4S4 who also said that we all need the people to come together. But I think Ebenezer is back online. So if he is ready, we can just ask some few questions, then continue the entertainment update.
Well, it's a segment, so you ask your questions.
All right. Is Ebenezer back online? Because it seems he's off. Like he has gone out again. Well, what's Ebenezer?
Okay, Ebenezer,
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, Otimenka.
Yeah, both. Yeah, because of the networking, let me go straight to the point. I already have the issue.
Please go straight.
Go straight to the point because of the network. Maybe I'm wanting to.
Cool.
Concerning Kenya and Kwade issue, let me break it down in our language so that everybody gets to understand it well. The parents, Kwade and Kenya. The parents, Kwade and Kenya. Going to the parents, we all know, the parents, they were there before Kwade became Kwade. Kwade hit him, that parents also, you can be very careful how we talk about issues, because ne mama ne wo ho ansana Kwade ebe hit it. Na o bibi obeye akora na beginning na nko betimi aye saade no. Ye hwe ni yi o. Nema mienu. Awofo de ebia na nipa no sunsun boni bi obetwen ya ma ne ba na nya ba bi agira ansa.
Move on. All of a sudden, you need baby a sad way free. Now, utie lawyer no me person me read the way now make me boost house and say way me no. How are we going to go about it? Because lawyer me say, I say please note that we have our client's instruction to sue you. Meaning say in a court of law for damages on any unauthorized use or access to our client. Kindly be notified and comply accordingly to avoid embarrassment, so as no further notice shall be issued to you if you fail to comply with the demands of this letter. This is a letter from a comfort family. I'm a lawyer, and the same supposedly the same lawyer. I friend say, and consider the situation it's here near no. Ya discharge no. Yeah, party, yeah, no. Ya nyamo bi ya man yankopon. We did it because God has asked to do it. Said ya me de fiase no wa mesra me. Said ya me ya. That is what the Bible says. So we did it because of that. Now, family clients, according to us, letter, they say, Mmaa me na Troy, and Mmaa me na instructor no. My prayer letter. Say yen to me your ma mokeka me manya me share for helping. Farid obi oka ubi anya share for helping. Now, why yes stable? Ye yino, mo de ne coffee, mo befa ne de ne coffee, mo de ne coffee. Wasaba back. So, ye fremo busamo say, a point by so na moka say, ye in what on there, what was the plan? What was the plan like? A dear plans na much more woman. Nasamuni plans manua. Atena nipa buano. Nipa try their best to make him on yet said ye was a. And then all of a sudden there is pressure. Why? I'm not going to say probably maybe in a fast see. Usha as someone say lawyer here can. Ye mu be say a role saying because they say ye would because me to me more will be and I say me more me not at the end of the day the fire court to say you are helping. So much for comfort, so much pain and so much struggle. And then I'm how comfort sir. Why are you guys troubling this guy like this? Why?
Okay, it looks we are back online again, and sorry to our cherry viewers. Now let's move on to the next story, which is about Stonebwoy and Shatawale and Showbiz.
It is time again for the biggest roots reggae festival in Africa, the Kotoko Roots Festival 2025, all the way from Kingston, Jamaica, for the very first time in Ghana, performing live Culture featuring Kenyatta Hill, son of the legend Joseph Hill.
I took a sleep this morning of eternal.
Also bringing down the house from Augustown, Jamaica is Dwayne Stevenson.
So now I beg and plead, I'm on my bending knees. Godfather, you rescue me.
Alongside the legendary reggae gospel singer George Nooks from Kingston, Jamaica.
God is standing by.
Kingston meets Accra for a highly spiritual tango in a Kotoko style. Oh my God, all hell will break loose and Satan will be taken hostage. This is Kotoko Roots Festival 2025, and from Ghana, welcome your roots master, the Kotoko legend Black Rasta with the herbalist band.
Rastaman don't go in a barber shop. Rastaman can sit in a barber chair.
Conqueraja vibes, Rena, Mighty Octodus band, Nana Nto, the Bombardier. Osajifo, Nilante, Jawai, Daddy Bosco, Ras Apia Levi, Kwame Bediako, Akle, Tona Hope, and the High Life legend Samuel Owusu from Burkina Faso. Meet Zedmu, Rasim Porsche, and Imadu. Saturday, 8th March 2025. The venue is La Pleasure Beach, Accra. Time is 12 noon till you drop. Rate is only 50 Ghana cedis. And as usual, there will be free cocoa, kulkuli, kose, and masa to break your fast and to put you in the spiritual mood for Kuchoko Bam. And for more information, you contact 0244 499 461. Media partners
TV3, Onia TV, Onia FM, 3FM, Connect FM, Akuma FM, Black Empire Media, Prekesa Media.
My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten. Thank you for joining us on the live stream today. Much apologies for the unforgivable hiccups, thanks to the internet. We will see you next week, hopefully with better internet. My name, once more, Kwasi Anin Boaten.